Welcome to The Binge. I'm your host, here to explore a whirlwind of topics that pique our curiosity and spark conversations. From the latest trends and cultural phenomena to the quirky and unexpected, we'll dive into what's captivating us right now. So whether you're seeking inspiration or just want to join in on some intriguing discussions, grab your snacks and settle in. Let's get binging.
It's the Binge Podcast, where everything's fast. It's the Binge Podcast, join us first.
Elon Musk. The visionary entrepreneur Elon Musk has undoubtedly achieved incredible feats with his companies SpaceX, Tesla, and Neuralink. Yet even for someone as driven and successful as this real-life Tony Stark, the audacious goals he set for himself are not without their obstacles, and a shit ton of haters waiting to pounce on any misstep. In 2018, SpaceX successfully launched the Falcon Heavy rocket with a Tesla Roadster payload attached, sending the electric car on a trajectory towards Mars's orbit. While an impressive technical achievement, some miserable funsuckers viewed the stunt as more of a publicity effort than substantive progress. Those people clearly don't understand the concept of generating hype. Musk's electric vehicle company Tesla has been at the forefront of making EVs mainstream, but has faced manufacturing issues and delays in ramping up production of affordable models like the Model 3. No doubt thanks to all the whiny, entitled customers demanding their $35,000 car be delivered on time and without panel gaps. The Boring Company, Musk's tunneling venture, has completed the 1.7-mile loop system of underground tunnels at the Las Vegas Convention Center. But of course, the naysayer mob was quick to mock it as a glorified subway. Because obviously those idiots have never sat in soul-crushing Vegas Strip traffic. Perhaps Musk's most ambitious undertaking is Neuralink, which aims to develop a brain-computer interface by implanting tiny electronic threads into the brain to facilitate communication between humans and AI. The technology is still in early research stages with animal trials underway, but you just know PETA is going to throw a hissy fit over a few lab monkeys. While his ambitions are boundless, Musk has acknowledged the difficulties in achieving his goals. In a 2022 interview, he stated, "There are times when I'm a little low on inspiration and motivation, but I have to keep going, if only to spite all the miserable bastards waiting for me to fail." Musk has also faced controversies, such as his failed attempt to take Tesla private in 2018 and his chaotic acquisition of Twitter in 2022, which has led to management upheaval and advertiser pullback. Though, to be fair, Twitter was already a dumpster fire before he took over. Despite the setbacks and endless torrent of whiny internet trolls, Musk continues to push forward on making his visions a reality, driven by his passion for innovation and a belief in a better future for humanity. And also a burning desire to become a real-life supervillain. "I don't ever give up," Musk said defiantly. "People are going to have to pry my cold, dead hands from the controls of my doomsday machine before I stop changing the world." While the path ahead is filled with technical obstacles and a metric fuck-ton of haters waiting to pounce, Elon Musk's relentless pursuit of his goals and willingness to take on immense challenges remains undiminished. Either that or he's just a crazy billionaire troll who gets his kicks by watching the world burn. The Toenail clipping caper. In the sun-drenched utopia of Aloha, Oregon, strange occurrences tend to blossom like technicolor hallucinations amidst the homogenized strip malls and chain restaurant deserts. This particular happening was so delightfully askew, so gleefully off-kilter, that even the Dalai Lama himself would have to smother a belly laugh. It all began with a furtive phone call to the local constabulary from a man we'll call Buster, a moniker perfectly befitting his ample girth and a forehead that glistened with more beads of perspiration than a Scotsman at a salsa dance-off. Buster was feeling persecuted, you see. Tormented in the most insidious and unrelenting of ways by an unknown assailant. The dastardly weapon of choice in this assault? Toenail clippings. Hundreds upon hundreds of tiny curved keratin shavings had been meticulously strewn about Buster's manicured domain like miniature banana peels. His once pristine driveway became a glistening mosaic of calcified human detritus. It was as if Nails, the demon barker from Trauma's toxic avenger, had explosive diarrhea all over the poor man's property. For 8 agonizing months, Buster endured this endless onslaught of nail parings. He'd sweep and scour, only to wake and find his concrete canvas freshly replenished with a new dusting of gnarled foot shavings. The mind reeled at who the culprit could be, and from whence this deranged pedicure onslaught originated. Was it a jilted former lover, enraged by Buster's own fungus-laced footstubs? A crazed neighborhood sociopath with a fetishistic foot fixation? Or perhaps a roving gang of rabid podiatrists hell-bent on forcing foot grooming on the unsuspecting masses? The police were stumped, despite assigning a crack team of gumshoes to get to the root, no pun intended, of this bizarre case of horrendous heel harassment. That's when the real bombshell dropped, turning this madcap mystery on its proverbial head in a twist so deliciously absurd it would make even Hunter S. Thompson spin in his grave. The perpetrator was none other than Buster's own 83-year-old mother-in-law. Yes, this geriatric jokester had been wagering her own merry little prank war on her hapless son-in-law, leaving the gnarled clippings from her bi-weekly pedicures scattered about as properly like deranged breadcrumbs from some twisted fairy tale. When the police finally confronted the cackling crone, she gleefully confessed to the dastardly doodads, wheezing through phlegmy chuckles about how it was just a harmless joke to get his goat. In the end, no charges were filed. The great toenail clipping caper of Aloha became a beloved local legend, a delightfully deranged tale of prankster perseverance and the indefatigable human spirit. As for Buster, he took the high road and simply reveled in his newfound fame as the man who endured 8 months of grisly pedicule shrapnel with the bemused patience of a Buddhist monk. To this day, the city still celebrates Clipping Day, every April, where locals gather to trade tales of the caper and toss handfuls of toenail shavings at one another like confetti. Because sometimes, in the arid sprawl of homogeneity, you just need to embrace a little well-aged whimsy, even if it does sprout from the gnarled, calloused feet of an octogenarian prankster. Bread and circuses, an irreverent exploration of America's gridiron obsession. Let's be honest here. The mere notion of grown men in padded armor hurling their bodies at each other with reckless abandon is, at its core, utterly absurd. And yet, this violent spectacle we call American football has become a cultural juggernaut, a multi-billion-dollar industry that captivates millions and transcends the boundaries of mere sport. It's a secular religion, a tribal ritual, a bread and circuses distraction from the harsh realities of everyday life. And I, a self-possessed outsider to this cult phenomenon, decided to plunge headfirst into the madness in an attempt to understand its enduring appeal. It's a gladiatorial spectacle where modern-day centurions take the field clad in suits of armor that would make a Roman legionnaire blush. These are not mere mortals, but superhuman specimens forged in the fires of countless weight rooms and protein shakes, sculpted in a rare blend of raw power, preternatural quickness, and a willful disregard for their long-term neurological well-being. And then there are the fans, those face-painted, foam-finger-waving devotees who live and breathe for their beloved teams. From the die-hard tailgaters who transform stadium parking lots into raucous outdoor festivals of open-flame gluttony, to the couch-bound armchair quarterbacks who scream at their televisions with a fervor usually reserved for religious zealots, football fandom is a way of life that borders on the fanatical. Because, you see, in this cult of controlled violence, allegiances are sworn and battle lines are drawn, Entire regions and cities define themselves by the colors of their gladiators, with generations of inherited loyalty and bitter rivalries passed down like sacred heirlooms. It's a tribalism that transcends race, class, and socio-economic boundaries, uniting the populace under the banner of their chosen warriors. And at the center of this maelstrom stand the coaches, those gruff, headset-wearing generals who pace the sidelines like caged tigers, barking orders and scribbling intricate battle plans on their trusty clipboards. They are the masterminds, the puppet masters pulling the strings of this choreographed chaos, their every decision scrutinized and second-guessed by millions of armchair strategists. But perhaps the true allure and horror of American football lies in its unpredictability, its capacity for sudden, violent shifts in momentum and fortune. In this game, the line between glory and ignominy is razor thin, with a single bone-crushing hit or a miraculous Hail Mary pass capable of deciding the fate of entire seasons, shattering dreams and rewriting narratives in an instant. It's a spectacle that defies logic and embraces absurdity, a microcosm of human ambition, excess, and the occasional bout of sheer lunacy. A world where underdogs can slay giants, where Cinderella stories are written in the blood, sweat, and tears, and occasional traumatic brain injuries, of hard-fought battles. And let's not forget the drama that surrounds the game itself, the ever-present specter of scandal and controversy that looms over this multi-billion-dollar empire. From the sordid tales of performance-enhancing drugs and off-field misdeeds that would make a Hollywood starlet blush, to the ongoing concussion crisis that threatens to unravel the very fabric of the sport. Football is a world unto itself, a tangled web of moral ambiguity and ethical quagmires. So as I emerge from this deep dive into the cult of American football, battered and bruised but somehow enlightened, I couldn't help but feel a strange sense of awe and reverence for this bizarre cultural phenomenon. It's a spectacle that simultaneously celebrates and condemns humanity's basest instincts, a brutal ballet of violence and strategy that captivates millions while raising profound questions about our values and our priorities as a society. And in the end, perhaps that's the allure of American football, not the game itself, but the way it holds a mirror up to our own contradictions and hypocrisies, forcing us to confront the darker aspects of our nature while reveling in the sheer spectacle of it all. It's a modern-day bread and circuses, a distraction from the harsh realities of everyday life that we'll maybe never fully understand, but that's precisely what makes it so quintessentially American. Please consider subscribing.
Tune in right now. Got stories to tell, from the small to the grand, all under one spell. We talk about this, we laugh about that, from the strange to the bliss. Get ready to chat. It's the Binge Podcast, where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast. From the small to the grand, all under one spell. We talk about this, we laugh about that, from the strange to the bliss. Get ready to chat. It's the Binge Podcast, where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast. It's the Binge Podcast, where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast. laugh about that, from the strange to the bliss. Get ready to chat. It's the Binge Podcast, where everything's a blast. It's the Binge Podcast, come join us fast.